Alright, welcome back to my channel. This is gonna be my November favorites. Alright, so in November I went to one of the most fashion forward capitals of the world, so I kind of wanted to start off with going to New York City for the first time ever is probably my favorite of the entire month. I got to see all of the city. I was only there for 2 days, but it was amazing. I stayed near the World Trade Center and I got to go to the Brooklyn Bridge. I got to go to the Met, walked around all the city. I got to have New York pizza for the first time ever, which was amazing. And yeah, I have to say I only brought one pair of shoes, and that's gonna be my first favorite other than the trip. These Doc Martens, these saved me walking on the concrete. I wore them in too, so it was kind of good. They just zip up on the sides, so it was great for slipping out, and then also just how sturdy they are. Walking on the streets and stuff, it wasn't a problem for me. If someone stepped on your foot on the subway, you don't feel anything. So I have to say those are my favorite things. And then also just I had such an amazing time in New York. It was such a cool city. I was actually afraid going into it that I wasn't gonna like it, but I felt so at home there. The subway was really easy to use. The environment, everyone was so nice. I didn't run into a single mean person from New York at all. There's even someone that stopped me asking for directions and stuff, so I feel people assumed that I was from there, which was cool. I have to say it was such a cool experience. I really liked the city. I only have good things to say about New York and New Yorkers, and people were so fashionable there too. I got really inspired with the styles that people wore. I've never seen so many designer things in my life. People wearing Dior shoes and Chanel bags everywhere. It was crazy, and people had color coordinated. I didn't see anyone on the streets wearing sweatpants and stuff. Almost everyone was wearing a suit or just dressed head to toe very nicely. Even if it was a casual outfit, it still looked put together. So just seeing that, I saw people with full-on white suits on the subway, and just really cool. It was such a cool experience. I had a really good time. I loved New York. I was not expecting to like New York so much. Coming from Richmond and stuff, it's just a much smaller city, but I loved the hustle and bustle of New York, how much there is to do there, and I definitely want to go back. So definitely my favorite. I also will say lifesavers for the cold weather. My other favorites would be beanies. I got this one recently. This is a Patagonia one. It's just a cream colored beanie, but it's on the inside, it's got some fleece lining, and so it keeps you really, really warm. I have to say this, just wearing a beanie and then also wearing gloves, I carry these with me in my bag if it's really cold out, definitely saves everything. If you want to stay warm, have thick wool socks on, have some kind of well insulated gloves, and put a beanie on, and you're good to go. Those are my winter staples. I also really like this one. I got this one a little more recently. It's just a black VCU beanie. I really liked it. It was awesome. It's not as if you want winter proof, get a Patagonia one, or a nice well-made one that's thick. This one's more, it's just an acrylic beanie, but it's still better than nothing. So I would recommend beanies, gloves. Those are definitely things that I've been using all of November because it started getting cold for once. Even down here, it's really nice and sunny today, hence why I'm just wearing a dress. But it does get cold. There's nights where it'll get to 30 degrees and stuff like that. So, and it did snow. As you saw probably in my update vlog, it was snowing when I came back. Yeah, but that trip was so fun. That was probably one of the best things I did this entire year, was just going there, and it was just a weekend trip. Took the train, Amtrak to New York, and I'm just so glad that I bit the bullet and took that trip, because it was something that I should have done long ago. I can't believe I'm 25 and only just going to New York for the first time ever, but it was great. I'm so glad I went. Anyway, moving on to my second favorite. My other big event thing that I did in November was going to my first ever NFL game. First ever really football game. I'd never been to a legit football game before. So in terms of the football game, that was the first time I'd ever really gone to a full football game before. I never went to one in high school really. And I didn't know the rules of football until about a year ago over Christmas when I was staying with Matt, my best friend. He is a huge Ravens fan, really big baseball, football fan, and he took the time to tell me all the rules, like all the players, positions, how the game works. And before that, the only sport I really followed was soccer. I didn't really like anything else because I hadn't played it. I hadn't played football. I didn't really see the point. Like, I was like, why do people really like this sport? It doesn't make any sense to me. There's lots of concussions, blah, blah, blah. And after seeing like him and his whole family, especially his mom, like took the time to explain different plays to me. We would watch like games and she'd be like, oh, this is this, like, oh, that's on that line, like all this stuff. And it just got like seeing a whole family watch a game around the holidays and enjoying it. It really got me into the sport. And so I still didn't, this whole year, like I would say, yeah, I like football and I would watch some games, but I wasn't never really like that into it. I didn't have like a team that I liked. So people would be like, oh yeah, what team do you support? Like the Washington like Redskins, like what is it? And I'm like, I don't know, I don't have a team. Because I genuinely didn't. I'd never been to a football game before. I would like watch some games online, but it's so different from actually like seeing a game in person. And anyway, I went to this game. I took this as like a little memento. This was like from the packet they give you when you go in the stadium. This was on the 17th, that Sunday, November. The Ravens played the Houston Texans and it was a blowout. Like, they dominated them, and most of the game it was like 0-30. I mean, it was amazing. So getting to see them also so close, and the whole atmosphere of like the crowd, people, old fans that have been going for decades, being, you know, screaming at the top of their lungs. And then I got to bring my friend Grant with me, and Matt was having such a blast, and I just got to like experience that whole thing with the crowd and people from Baltimore, and just going all the way up there to the stadium and seeing the plays firsthand. Like, they do have a huge, I'll try to put in pictures, but they have huge screens, so if you can't really, if you're far away from the stadium, but you're like there, but you're pretty far, you can't see the field that well, they have that on the screen too. But just seeing them warm up and stuff, like that was probably my favorite thing, actually, like seeing these players that I'd heard about and like watched a few of their games, like see them warm up and then see their plays like in real time, and like being only, you know, 50 feet from them. It was just so cool. So I definitely have to say I am now a Ravens fan. Mark Ingram is probably my favorite player. He's 21, his jersey. And I also, seeing Lamar Jackson, who's probably one of the best quarterbacks right now, was so cool. So the Ravens, they're undefeated right now, which is insane, actually insane. So they won that game, and then they won their away game after that, and then they had their home game this past Sunday, and my friend Matt, he also got to see that game. I'm really jealous I didn't get to go. But it made me really want to go in the future to see them play again, so that was so much fun. I now can say I'm a genuine football fan, and the Ravens are like my team, so that was something that happened in November. I was not, if you had I never thought I would be into football, but I actually really, really liked it, so that was cool. Thank you, Matt, for bringing me and letting me bring my friend. I had an amazing time, and yeah, that was awesome. So, switching on to a different thing, I've also really gotten into a lot of like rap music, a lot of hip hop music, a lot of like just artists that I never thought I would listen to. I got really into 21 Savage, The Baby, and also Kodak Black. One of my friends made me a rap playlist, and it got me really into the genre again. It'd been a long time. I remember growing up listening to hip hop and R&B a lot, but I never was like a huge fan of rap. That's what I've kind of been listening to. I did make a November playlist of like all the songs that I really liked this month, so you can check that out. I'm gonna link it below in the description. I have one also that I'm starting for December, and then I also will say my Midi's Best playlist, which is mainly EDM. I always have that. I'm always like adding to that playlist. It probably has well over almost 1,500 songs on it, so that as well. I listened a lot to Drake's Scorpion album this month, and then Madeon came out with Good Faith, which is so good if you like EDM. He finally released an album. It's been years, and it's really good. I really like it. I wish I could see him live, but it's fine. It's fine. I can enjoy his album. And also in terms of like chill music, I've been really listening to the Japanese House, for if you want something just like to play in the background while you're writing or doing something like that. It's really nice ambiance, so that's what I would recommend as well. That's the gist of it. I mean, I mainly my EDM, and then I really got into rap, and all of that will be linked below my playlist for my month. I'm gonna try to do a monthly playlist of like music I've really liked that I've been listening to. And then so music aside, my miscellaneous stuff aside, the only show that I really have to recommend is The Crown. The new season of The Crown came out in November around Thanksgiving time, a little bit before then. Actually, I have two shows. First one, The Crown. I think this season is my favorite season. The actors are just incredible. The Queen, Elizabeth, she's older now, so they have a new installment of actors, and I just think that she's the woman that portrays her in this season is really, really good. And there's also more focus on Margaret, Princess Margaret, and like what happens in her life too. Definitely recommend. You don't even have to see the other seasons to really watch any season of The Crown, just because it's a historical period. You kind of already know what's going to happen in a sense if you know about the royal family. The other show that I got into around a week before Thanksgiving, I would say, would be Rick and Morty, because the new season is now airing. There's only 3 episodes out, but I hadn't seen anything. I hadn't even finished the first season. I was like 6 episodes into season 1, and then all my friends were like, the new season of Rick and Morty is so good, and I was like, oh, should I watch it? Like, can I watch it with you guys? Because people were having watch parties and stuff like that. And they said, watch the show first so you know what's happening, because there is, like, yeah, each episode is its kind of own thing, but there's still this like intricate plot that's going on through the show. So with that, I watched a lot of it all on Hulu. I watched all of the seasons that are on there, and then you can go online and watch the latest season of the first 3 episodes that are out. I have to do that, and it's such a good show. It takes a while, at least for me. It's not necessarily like my sense of humor naturally, but it is really good, and I actually like all the layers that are in the show. I think Rick is like one of my favorite characters that I've ever seen in like an animated show, just because he's so dimensional and just an interesting guy. So yeah, I really liked Rick and Morty. That would be one of my other recommendations shows-wise. If you've seen it, let me know what you think of it. I just think it's such an interesting, it's very eccentric, and I think it's really funny too. The latest episodes are really funny. I really like the one with Elon Musk in it too. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this up. I have just 2 more fashion favorites and like some makeup stuff I want to mention. Being cold, I've been wearing my mom's her jean jacket. It's just an old Guess jacket. It's like distressed on the sides and everything, but I've really liked it because when it gets cold, I've noticed if I put something heavy like this over some, like I'll wear like a sweatshirt and then a hoodie, and then if I put this on top, it keeps me really insulated because it's like thick jean, you know, windy and stuff like that. I don't get cold very easily. So I've actually, people think of jean jackets as like a summer thing, but I've been wearing this in the winter and it's been keeping me really, really, really warm. And I just think it looks cool too, laying over like a hoodie and having the hood out like that. I really like how that looks. So that would be one of my favorites. And then along with that, my last like 2 little makeup things. This palette, which is an Hourglass like special edition. During the holidays, they come out with a palette, and I really like it because it's kind of an all-in-one thing, powders wise, for my makeup lovers. This palette is great. It has blushes, it has setting powders, it has a highlight, and it has a bronzer. And I have that on today, and I think it's just really pretty. I've been using it every day since I got it, so it's a really good purchase on my behalf. And then with that, now that it's cold, now that it's like December, I've been going back into using a liquid sunscreen every day. This one is tinted. It's SkinCeuticals SPF 50 sunscreen. It has a bit of a tint, so if you don't like wearing much makeup but you do want to have something, because it's liquid, it's very hydrating on the skin. I would say if you have oily skin, you might want to set it, but because I have dry skin, it just like keeps my skin very hydrated, and I love it. It evens out your complexion, and you're also getting sun protection, which is still important in the winter. It's still important to protect your skin from UV rays. So I'm actually, this is like my 3rd one, and I'm already getting low on this because I use it on an everyday, just because it doesn't break me out and it's just very easy to use. But I really like it in the winter because of how dry my skin gets, and it makes it stay hydrated. Yeah, that's really it. Those are my favorites, and I also have to say this is a December thing, but I kind of have pink hair right now. I just got like a kit at CVS and kind of did it on a whim, and I think it looks really cool. But yeah, that's really it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know what you've been loving this month. If you have any books or shows or any kind of recommendations like that, just leave it in the description or leave it in my comments. I had an amazing Thanksgiving and I got to see my friends and my family, and it's just been overall really good. So I also have noticed, like with my having a smaller camera, I can bring it around. I'm going to try to vlog some, so the next video that you see on my channel will be a vlog. Yeah, so thumbs up for this video if you liked it, and subscribe down below if you want to see more from me.